Okay, now Aarush, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm telling you the story of Devavrata.
Mm-hmm.
The name of title of the story is Devavrata.
Okay.
It is from Mahabharat, okay, or mythology. Mm, there was a king.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Shantanu.
Something.
One day he was wandering on the banks of river Ganga.
Mm-hmm.
He saw a very beautiful maiden. He asked her, "Oh, what are you doing here?" She said, "I am here. My name is Ganga." So he was so much overwhelmed by her beauty. He asked her, "Will you become my wife?" She said, "Yes, but on certain conditions. Neither you nor anybody from your family should ever ask me where from I came. You should not say anything displeasing to me. You should not stand in my way, whatever I do, good or bad. You should not say anything displeasing to me also. If you trouble me or if you violate all these conditions, I shall live there and there only." Do you agree? He was overwhelmed by her supreme beauty. He said, "Yes, I'm ready to marry you and I will fulfill my promise." They married
Mm-hmm.
and they lived a life of perfect happiness, oblivious of passage of time. They did not know how time is passing. She gave birth to 8 children,
Mm-hmm.
but every child, newly born child, she used to take it to the river Ganga and cast in the river and come home with a smiling face. The king was filled with horror. What is going on? Why should act? She is acting like a murderous witch. But he knew the promise he had made, and all his mastering love for her, he said nothing. No, he did not blame her or did not utter any word displeasing her. Like that, she killed 7 children, innocent babes. When the 8th child was born and she was about to cast into the river, the king could not bear it any longer. He said, "Stop, stop. Why you are bent upon killing your innocent babes? I cannot tolerate it." Ganga said, "Oh king, yeah, this is violating the promise you have made me. Because your mind is set on this child, you don't need me. But listen to my story before you judge me. I, who am playing this hateful role, am the goddess Ganga. All men and God, they worship me. Now the service you have done to the 8 Vasus, 8 people from 8 good men from the what you call
Mm-hmm.
Swarga, means heavens. There also heaven, one who is God or worthy to be God, he lives in heaven. Okay, so in the service you have done to the 8 Vasus, you will be going to the higher regions up to your death. I am very much pleased with you. And she narrated him. He, she said, "This is the child I'll take with me, and after some time I'll bring it and give my gift to you." And then she narrated the story, how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And after narrating the story, she disappeared. No, she first disappeared, and the story comes like that. When 8 Vasus with their wives went for a picnic in the mountain tract, somewhere in Himalaya, there was a hermitage of sage Vasishtha. There was a great sage. He was performing austerities. So he had a very graceful cow and a calf. So the one of the wives saw it and pointed out to the husband, "This is a cow. Why not to secure her?" He said, "Are you mad? This cow belongs to the Vasishta. He is the master of this whole area. And no doubt this cow is a beautiful, and if somebody drinks the milk of cow, he will become immortal. He will have no death. He will be forever. But we are already immortal. We don't need this. It's a foolishness to satisfy him." But she said, "No, I have a dear companion in the mortal world. I want to give it as a gift to her. Bring it, secure." He said, "No," but she could not be put off. Finally, he yielded. And other 7 verses joined him, and they together seized the cow along with the calf and went away. In the evening, Vasishtha came. Sage came to the hermitage. He missed the cow because they were indispensable for his daily rituals. He used to perform rituals, and cow and calf were required. But he was performing austerities. He had some insight. He came to know what had happened, and he became very angry, and he pronounced a curse. The Ashtavasus who sees the cow will be born in the world of men. When the Vasus came to know all this, they become repentant. They came and threw at his feet and said, "Please forgive us. Please forgive. We have done stupid blunder. Please forgive." The sage Vasu said, "Sorry, I cannot take back my curse, but I can dilute to some extent." The Vasu, Pravasa, who sees, he will live for a longer time in the mortal world, but he will be all in glory, and others will be freed as soon as they are born. I can dilute the curse to this extent. And again he set his mind on austerities. Because when the sages perform austerities, they get a power to bless others or to curse others. But every exercise of this reduces the store of merit. When the Vasus, they became bit relieved. They came and they approached Goddess Ganga. "You please come to the earth, marry a worthy man, and liberate us as soon as we are born. Please." They request earnestly. She said, "Okay." Then she took human form, and she was standing in beautiful form. To who? The King Shantanu married. After Ganga left, the King Shantanu lost all his pleasure in life. He said that life is of no use, and he lost the entire hope in the life. One day, as I was wandering on the bank of river, he saw a young boy, very illustrious, very beautiful, brilliant, was playing with the river. He had made arrows. He was casting arrows towards the river. He stood transfixed. What is going on here? A small boy playing with arrows. Ganga immediately appeared and said, "This is your head child. His name is Devavrata." Parshuram taught him all arts of arms, equals him. Sage Vasishtha has taught him all scriptures, Vedas, everything, and statesmanship also. And Sage Shukracharya has taught him all sciences. So he is a hero, a great archer, and a very, very brilliant and knowledgeable person. No one in the world can equal him. Take back. The king was very, very happy. And by saying this, Goddess Ganga disappeared. He took the boy and came to his kingdom. This is the first story. Okay? The second story is the name have the title is the Bhishma, Bhishma's vow. Now this Devavrata, when uh, King Shantanu was very happy and he crowned Devavrata, young Devavrata, as a Yuvraj, means heir apparent. Means after his death he would be the king of that country. 4 years went by. One day the Shukra, sage King Shantanu was wandering on the bank of Ganga river. The air was suddenly filled with fragrance so divine. So he thought, where from it has come? He went to trace out the origin. He found that it was emanating from one beautiful lady. And he was again overwhelmed by seeing the beauty of that young maiden. He said, will you marry me? He said, please, I am a daughter of a fisherman community chief. You please ask my father. If he commands, I'll marry you. And depending on my father. So King Shantanu again went to his father. He was a very practical and what you call astute man. He knew how to gain advantage of the situation. He said, okay, my daughter has to be married to somebody and you are a king. You are worthy of her. But before you have her, you have to make a promise. He said, what is that? I can make the promise. He said, the son born of this, my daughter, shall be the king after you. When he realized the real meaning, he could not accept it. He said, no, sorry. And he came home. But what happened? Because he has already crowned Devavrata as a king. So he could not give the promise to the other one that the son born of the fisherwoman shall be the king after him. No. So he came home, he became very sad and languished in silence. He grew thin. His son Devavrata asked him, Father, you have got everything. You are the king. Everything is at your disposal. You have got wealth, everything. Then why are you pining away like this in sorrow? He said, there is nothing to say about it, but one thing I can tell you, you are the only son to me. And all the time you are filled with what you call the ambition, military ambition. Life is uncertain in this world. And those who are well read in scripture, they say having one son, only one son, is having no son at all. Because life is uncertain. Suppose some calamity befalls you. Our race will become extinct. There will be no perpetual race. Nobody will be there. It is this point that torments me. Devavrata realized this is not the real, because the king was ashamed to tell him the meeting with the fisherwoman on the river. He thought there was some secret cause of its mental state. He went and asked his charioteer what happened. He told him reality, what happened. Devavrata went and met the chief of the fishermen community. He said, you have to make a promise. Am I wrong in expecting that the child born of my daughter shall be the king? But you have been already crowned as a king. This stands in the way. So how can I give my daughter in marriage to your father? Then he said, okay, I renounce my right. I will not become the king. And he made a promise that I will not become the king after my father. The the son of this your daughter will be the king. You say, okay. You say, you have done is a very great sacrifice. No one in the royal blood has done this sort of sacrifice. You are a hero. But still listen, I'm a father. Listen my words. You will keep your words. I have no doubt about it. But how am I to believe that your sons will not renounce their right? And if they force out a way to seize the kingdom, it will be hard to oppose them. This is torments me. Now they were going to realize this is a naughty question by the chief of the fisherman community. He said, okay, but he was bent upon fulfilling his father's desire. He said, okay. And he made his supreme renunciation with the raised hands. I shall never marry. When he said these words, the gods who were in heaven, they showered flowers, everywhere flowers and flowers. And the words Bhishma, Bhishma, Bhishma sounded in the air. Bhishma means the one who takes a terrible vow and fulfills it. And he fulfilled his vow, he never married. And the marriage of that daughter Satyavati with the Shantanu was solemnized.
Mhm.
She had two sons. The elder one was Chitranganga, the younger one was Vichitravirya. Vichitravirya married
Mhm.
Ambika and Ambalika. And
True.
Ambika and Ambalika.
Mhm.
From Ambalika,
Oh.
her son was Ambalika's son was Dhritarashtra, Ambika's, and Ambalika's son was the Pandu. What is his name? Pandu.
Okay.
He had 5 sons. They came to be known as the Pandu.
Uh-huh.
Dhritarashtra had 100 sons. They came to be known as the Kaurav. This is the second part of the story. And Bhishma lived for a long, long, long time till the battle of the Kurukshetra. Now the third chapter is marriage of Vichitravirya or Amba and Bhishma. When Chitranganga fought with some Gandharva and he was killed in that battle. So with the elder brother, Vichitravirya was crowned as the king of that country. But he was a minor. So Bhishma ruled the kingdom in his name till he came of age. When he became adult, Bhishma thought he must be married. So he heard that the king of Kashi had 3 daughters, Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. The princes were to be married. And in those days there was a system of Swayamvara. So all the Kshatriyas went there in great hopes. Bhishma also went there, though he was old. When he entered the hall, all Kshatriyas, princes, they thought that he has come to see the festivities. But then they came to know he was a suitor. So they laughed at him. They say, this old man, he forgets his promise of not to marry. And he's old. He's ridiculous. And they laughed at him, they mocked at him. In fact, Bhishma has gone not for his own marriage. He has gone there to secure 3 daughters for Vichitravirya. So his wrath flamed up and he challenged all those who laughed at him and defeated all. And he placed all the daughters, Amba, Ambika and Ambalika, who were very beautiful. And they were famous for accomplishments. They were well versed in dancing and music. When he put them in chariot and he set out for his capital. One king known as Salva, he intercepted. Bhishma fought with him and he was about to kill Salva. Amba intercepted. Please don't kill him. Please don't kill him. So when Amba said that, Bhishma spared his life. And with the three princes, Amba, Ambika and Ambalika, Bhishma came in Hastinapur. When Amba met Bhishma and said, "You are a great, you have brought me by force, but I had chose Salvo as my husband. But since you have brought me by force, I cannot do it. Now do what one should do if he is righteous, if he follows the dictates from the scriptures." Bhishma accepted her force of objection. Okay, I will not force you to marry Vichitravirya. And he sent her with escort to Salva. And the marriage of Vichitravirya with Ambika and Ambalika was solemnized. When Amba went to, what is his name? Salva. He said, Amba said, "See, Bhishma has sent me to you. Let us marry." Salva was disappointed. He said, "Not possible. Because Bhishma has slighted me. He has insulted me in the sight of everybody. I have been disgraced. So I can't marry you. Please go to Bhishma and do what he commands." Amba came back to Bhishma. Then Bhishma tried to induce Vichitravirya to marry Amba. He said, "Sorry, I cannot marry the maiden whose heart is being given to someone else. I cannot marry her." Then Amba told Bhishma, "You please marry me." Bhishma, "I am sorry. I have taken a promise. I cannot marry you." So she was baffled. Again, after a few years, she went to Salva in great hopes. But he found he was very adamant in refusal. With the pass of years, Amba was very, very lovely. But she had love for everybody. But the love in her consumed. And she was filled with sorrow and hatred. Though she was a beautiful princess, she was filled with sorrow and hatred for Bhishma. She thought that Bhishma is the cause of her distress, cause of her, what you call, tragedy. So she requested all Kshatriyas community, young princess, "You please defeat Bhishma and teach him a lesson." But all the Kshatriyas were afraid of Bhishma because Bhishma was supreme arts of the arms. No one could fight him. No, he was competent to defeat even 1,000 princes. They said, "Sorry." Then she went to somewhere and she made penance. She said some austerities to please the god. God Subramanyam was pleased with her. He said, "What do you want?" "I want Bhishma to be killed." The god said, "Okay, I am giving the garland of lotuses. This lotuses will never fade. You give it to the one. If somebody wears it, he will become enemy of the Bhishma." She brought the garland and requested every Kshatriya prince, "Please wear it and become enemy of Bhishma." They said, "Sorry." Everybody refused. "We don't want to challenge the death." She could not do anything. In the meantime, she went to the king Drupada and she requested him. He said, "No, sorry." Then what she did? She went on the palace gate and hanged the garland on the palace gate, and it remained there. Nobody touched it through fear. People knew if somebody wears it, it become enemy of Bhishma and Bhishma will kill him. So it remained there for many years. Then Bhishma went, the Amba went, and she asked some ascetics she met. sadhu. They say you go to Parshuram, he can help you. She approached Parshuram. Parshuram was a Brahmin
Mhm.
and he was hating Kshatriya community. असं करू नको. So he hated Kshatriya community. He was filled with very, very sorrow by listening to her story. He said, "Child, you want me to convince Salvo to marry you?" Say, "No, no, I don't desire marriage. I don't need happiness. My aim is life. My passion in my life is to kill Bhishma. I want his death, nothing else. That can only satisfy me. Please do that." It's okay. He espoused her cause. And he already hated Kshatriya community. So he fought with Bhishma. Both were greatest men at arms. And they fought continuously. But finally Parshuram says, "Sorry, I cannot defeat Bhishma." He said, "Amba, you go to Bhishma." He says, "Sorry." And then she went to Himalayas and performed rigorous austerities. So rigorous that she could that the god Shankar, Shiva, was pleased with her. He said, "What do you want?" He said, "I want death of Bhishma. I want to kill him." Say, "Yes, possible. Next birth it will happen." She was pleased. Now she set a fire and jumped into the fire and died. By the grace of, by the what you call, she was born as a daughter to King Drupal. One day, she was a young girl. She came to the palace gate and saw the garland which was hanging over there, and nobody touched it through fear. She went and brought the garland and put in her neck. When his father came to know she has done this, he was very angry and he was in consternation. He was in confusion. He thought something will go wrong. Bhishma will come and kill him. You say, "Child, you have done stupid nonsense. I don't want you to be with me. Get out from my palace. Go to forest." And he forcibly sent her in exile in the forest. A girl, little girl, went in the forest alone and she performed austerities. And in course of time, she was transferred into a male and came to be known as Shikhandi. When the Mahabharata war started, 18 days war, Krishna, Lord Krishna, knew the secret of this. He placed Shikhandi in front of Arjuna's reth. Bhishma knew the Shikhandi is nothing. He was born as a woman. So he decided he will not fight against a woman. So screened by the Shikhandi, Arjuna fought with Bhishma. And Bhishma fell in the battlefield. And Shikhandi also attacked Bhishma also. But he said, "This is the arrow of Arjuna, not Shikhandi's." And most probably Bhishma knew his probation on the earth was over. And he decided to die. This is the story of the Amba and Bhishma. That is the third story.
Okay.
Shall I continue fourth story?
Yeah.
Okay. The fourth story is Dronacharya.
Okay.
Dronacharya went to his teacher when he was child. And one prince had all come. His name was Drupad. And they, in those days, when they went to the ashram or hermitage of somebody, their teacher or guru, they had to live there, do the work, and get the teaching. I learned the scriptures, Vedas, Vedantas, portrait maybe. There was a friendship between both of them.
Mhm.
It was so intimate that King Drupada was a prince, used to say, when I become the king, I'll share half the kingdom with you. There was so much intimacy of the youth was there, friendship was there. After their uh, training was over, they came, Dronacharya came, he married, and a son was born to him. His name was Ashwatthama. Then Drupada, after death of his father, he became the king. The Dronacharya, he was very poor. He was a Brahmin, and Drupada was a Kshatriya. So he had no money. So no money. So he thought that he will go to Parshurama, because it was declared that Parshurama was to retire to the forest and distribute all his wealth, all riches amongst all. So he went there in great hopes. But before he could reach, Parshurama already distributed his riches, his wealth to all those who came and sought it. When he came, you are late. Sorry, I don't have any wealth to give to you. You are a poor, I understand. But I can teach you the art of arms. Dronacharya say, okay, I'm happy. So he taught him archery and other arts known to the Kshatriya. Use of mace, spear, archery, a bow and arrow and shooting it. Dronacharya became an unrivaled master at the military arts,
Mhm.
worthy of eager welcome into princely house in those warlike age. People thought he is a really teacher to teach the training, to teach this princess in the use of arms. Then he came home, but still the problem was not sorted out of the poverty. He remembered friendship with the king Drupada. He went there in great hopes, and he went to his um, palace. He was seated. King was. He said, "Oh, King Drupada, I am Drona. I am what is his name? Dronacharya.
Mhm.
Hmm? We were friends. The king Drupada had become so much vengeful that he thought it is below his dignity to recognize his friend who is he is a poor person. So he said, no, I am not your friend. Conveniently, he said, how can I be there friendship between a rich and poor? There cannot be friendship between a scholar and a duffer. There cannot be friendship between a sovereign and ordinary man. Get out. So he asked the gatekeepers to remove Dronacharya from his palace. Dronacharya was very much, what you call, humbly insulted, humiliated. He thought some way to teach him a lesson. He came from there, and his job was what to do, where from to get a job. So he remembered his brother-in-law, Kripacharya. He was in Hastinapur. So he came one day and he saw the princess Pandavas and Kauravas. They're playing. The ball with which they're playing had fallen into a well. And what it was? Dharmaraj,
Mhm.
Yudhishthir,
Yeah.
his ring, which people, everybody wears in the finger, had fallen in the well. And they were looking at the well, what to do, how to get it out. But they did not notice that a Brahmin, young Brahmin of dark complexion, was watching them with a smile. He asked the princess, Princess, can you not take it out? You are the Kshatriyas. The Dharma, Yudhishthir said, no, I cannot. Nobody can do it. If you can do it, if you can do it, we'll see that you will have good dinner and lunch with in our house. He said, okay, can you give me? Okay, wait. Then he took blaze of what you call grass. He uttered some words of power. And with the words of power, he sent it grass as a shaft. It sped into the well, deep into the well. He sent many other grasses in succession. It formed a chain. He stuck it and he bring it back. His ball. They said, then he said, okay, give me a bow and arrow. And he sent it, shoot. He started shooting it. The arrow went, touched the ring and rebounds back and brought the ring. All were lost in amazement. What is happening? It is a great something unbelievable. Amazement. They say, who are you? They say, you go to Bhishma and learn from him who I am. He did not reveal his identity. They went to the Bhishma and said, this had happened. Bhishma knew, yes, it must be Dronacharya, the famous master. Nobody can do this feat. He called Dronacharya and received with honors. Dronacharya, I know you are a great scholar, a teacher. Now, the princess, five Pandavas and 100 Kauravas, they need instructions. Will you please impart the instruction? Yes, he said. And he imparted further instructions. They become very expert in the art of arms known to the Kshatriyas. When after completion of their training, he sent Duryodhana and Karna. He said, you go and bring Drupada, King Drupada, who has insulted me, defeat him and bring him over here. They went there, but they could not do anything. They could not accomplish. They came, they were abashed and ashamed. They said, sorry, we could not accomplish. He said, what is this? You could not do it. Then he said, Arjun, can you do it? Arjun said, yes. Arjun went there. He went there, he challenged Drupada, defeated him, and he brought him captive. And he said, yes, I brought him. Then Dronacharya said, Drupada, I conquered your kingdom. I am also a king. Now let there be friendship. As your creed says, friendship can exist between two equals. Now we are on equal level. He insulted him. Then after some time he said, okay, now I don't want your kingdom. I want to teach you a lesson. So he spared him. And so go and enjoy your kingdom. So Drupada went and he enjoyed his kingdom. And he said, Arjuna, you are indeed a good archer. You are worthy to be my student. I am proud of it. Okay? This is the fourth story. The fifth story I will tell you of Vidur fifth. Huh? Lunch? Okay. Okay. This is the first session is over.
Okay.
This Vidur I will continue later on. Okay?